Think about the last time you truly relaxed. Not the kind where you're lying on the couch scrolling through your phone. Not the kind where you're watching something just to avoid thinking. I mean the kind where your mind was actually quiet. Where you weren't planning anything, worrying about anything, or replaying anything. Where you were just still. Can you remember it? Because for most people I know, and honestly for me too, that kind of stillness has become almost impossible to find. We lie down at night and our thoughts start racing. We sit in silence for 30 seconds and immediately reach for something to fill it. We take a day off and spend half of it feeling guilty, and the other half exhausted in a way that sleep doesn't fix. And here's the thing that nobody really talks about. We're not relaxing less because we're busier. We're relaxing less because our minds have forgotten how. There's a kind of tiredness that rest doesn't cure. You've felt it. You wake up after 8 hours of sleep and you're still mentally heavy. You take a weekend away from work and come back feeling just as drained. You sit in a quiet room for 10 minutes and it somehow feels worse than being busy. Like the silence is too loud. Like doing nothing is its own kind of pressure. That's not laziness. That's not weakness. That's what happens when a mind has been running at full speed for so long that it no longer knows how to slow down without feeling like something is wrong. We live in a world that is constantly producing stimulation. Every hour of every day, there is something new demanding a piece of your attention. A notification, a headline, a conversation. A video that promises to be interesting in the next 3 seconds, or you can skip it. And we have spent years training our brains to exist inside that current, to always be receiving something, to always be processing something. And when you train a mind to be constantly stimulated, something quietly breaks in it. The brain, in its most natural state, is not supposed to be on all the time. There's a rhythm to how it's meant to work. Engagement and recovery, input and silence, focus and drift. That rhythm is ancient. It's wired into us. But modern life doesn't respect that rhythm. It floods the input side and starves the recovery side. And after long enough, the brain starts to forget what recovery even feels like. It becomes so accustomed to noise that silence starts to feel threatening. Not dangerous exactly, but wrong. Like a signal that something is missing. This is where the phone comes in. You pick it up not because there's something specific you need. You pick it up because your brain has learned that inside that device is a guaranteed stream of stimulation. Something interesting, something funny, something outrageous, something that will give your mind something to chew on. And the moment you put it down, the moment the stream stops, there's a feeling, a subtle discomfort, almost like a craving. That's not a coincidence. That's by design. The systems we interact with most, social media, video platforms, news feeds, are built around one core mechanic: variable reward. The same psychological mechanism that makes gambling addictive. You don't know what the next post will be, whether it'll be boring or fascinating or shocking. That unpredictability keeps the dopamine system firing. It keeps you scrolling. And every time you scroll, you're reinforcing a neural pathway that says stimulation is good, stillness is bad. Do that 10,000 times and you've rewired something. I want to be honest about something. The overstimulation isn't just external. The world is loud, yes, but a lot of the noise lives inside us now. There's a habit of mind that develops over years of constant information consumption, and it's this: the tendency to turn everything into content to process, to analyze. to evaluate. You stop having experiences and start narrating them. You stop feeling something and immediately ask yourself what it means. You're at dinner with someone you care about, and part of your mind is already composing how you describe this moment to someone else. This is what overthinking really is. It's not just worrying. It's the inability to be inside your own life without immediately stepping outside of it to observe it, to comment on it, to judge it. And it's exhausting in a way that's very hard to explain to someone who doesn't experience it. Because from the outside, you're just sitting there, you're doing nothing, but inside, the commentary never stops. Here is something I've come to believe. The reason silence feels uncomfortable to so many people isn't that silence is empty. It's that silence is full of things we've been avoiding. When the noise stops, the other stuff surfaces. The worry you pushed down this morning, the conversation you keep replaying, the question you haven't answered yet about where your life is going, the low-level anxiety that you can usually outrun with busyness, but that catches up when things go quiet. So people keep moving, keep scrolling, keep filling the space, not because they're lazy or shallow, because the stillness feels like something they're not ready to sit inside. And the longer they avoid it, the more it accumulates, the louder it gets when it finally breaks through. This is the cycle. Overstimulation creates an inability to sit with discomfort. The inability to sit with discomfort creates a need for more stimulation. And somewhere in the middle of that loop, real rest becomes impossible. Because real rest isn't just physical. It's a state of mental safety. It's the feeling that you don't have to be anywhere, figure out anything, or protect yourself from anything right now. You can just be. And the brain, if it has been running in threat detection mode for long enough, cannot access that state easily. It doesn't feel safe to stop. There's always something it feels like it should be doing, something it should be monitoring, something it might miss. The irony is that we are probably the least physically threatened humans in history. We don't have to hunt for food or fear predators in any literal sense. And yet anxiety has never been more widespread. Because the threats have changed, but the nervous system hasn't. We're not scared of wolves. We're scared of being behind. Scared of being forgotten. Scared of making the wrong choice, saying the wrong thing. Wasting time. Missing out. Being judged, not being enough. These fears don't come with a clear resolution. There's no moment where you defeat them, and they're over. They're ambient. They run in the background, and a mind carrying ambient fear does not rest. It monitors, it rehearses, it plans for things that may never happen. It lies awake at 2 a.m, running simulations of conversations it might have, decisions it might face, problems it might need to solve. Not because you're broken, but because your nervous system is trying to protect you the only way it knows how. I think about how different this is from previous generations. Not in a nostalgic way, just as an observation. People had hard lives. Often much harder than ours in material terms, but there were natural periods of quiet built into the structure of daily existence. Walking somewhere, sitting at a table with nothing in front of you, waiting without a screen to retreat into, boring stretches of time that the mind had no choice but to simply pass through. Those stretches weren't just boredom, they were recovery. They were the spaces where the mind processed what had happened, settled itself, and slowly came back to neutral. We've almost completely eliminated those spaces now. We've filled every gap. And in doing so, we've taken away the mind's natural repair time. So we arrive at the end of the day more loaded than when we started. And we arrive at the end of the week more depleted than we should be. And we wonder why we feel so tired all the time, why nothing feels restful, why we can't seem to find any peace no matter how much we try to take care of ourselves. There's a difference between distraction and rest. I want to name that clearly because I think it gets confused a lot. Distraction is giving your mind something else to focus on so it forgets, temporarily, what it was worrying about. It has its place. It's not entirely bad, but it doesn't restore anything. When the distraction ends, you're in the same place you were before, sometimes more tired. Rest, real rest, is different. It's not filling your mind with something better. It's allowing your mind to empty a little, to move without direction, to wander without urgency. It's being present in a way that isn't about achieving anything, not even achieving calm. The problem is that this kind of rest requires a tolerance for uncertainty and discomfort that most of us have slowly lost, because it means being with yourself without the buffer of stimulation. And for a lot of people, that feels vulnerable in a way they can't quite name. So what do you actually do with this? I don't think the answer is to declare war on technology or construct some impossible new lifestyle. That kind of thinking usually leads nowhere. What I think matters is something smaller and more honest than that. It starts with noticing what you're actually doing when you reach for your phone in a quiet moment. Not judging it, just seeing it. Asking, what was I feeling just before I picked this up? Was I bored? Was I anxious? Was there something surfacing that I didn't want to sit with? Just that moment of awareness, practiced consistently, begins to change something. It means reintroducing low stimulation time deliberately. Not long retreats, not drastic changes, just small pockets of time where you're not consuming anything, walking without headphones, sitting with coffee before opening a screen, letting a meal just be a meal. These aren't life-changing acts on their own, but they slowly rebuild the capacity to exist in quiet without feeling like you need to escape it. And there's something else, something harder. It means becoming willing to let the things you've been avoiding with busyness actually arrive. The worry, the grief, the unresolved question. Not to fix them immediately, just to let them be present for a moment. Because the avoidance itself is what keeps the nervous system on high alert. When you stop running from the feeling loses some of its power. The mind starts to learn that silence isn't a threat. That stillness doesn't mean you're falling behind. That being present without producing anything is not wasted time. That you are allowed to simply exist without earning it. This takes time. I want to be honest about that. You don't undo years of overstimulation in a week of mindful walks. The nervous system doesn't rewire that quickly. There will be days when the discomfort of quiet feels overwhelming and you'll retreat into the noise anyway. That doesn't mean you've failed. It just means you're human. But slowly, something does shift. You start to notice that you can sit with yourself a little longer before the restlessness kicks in. You notice that the silence isn't actually empty. It has a texture, a quality, something that feels almost like relief if you stay in it long enough. You notice that some of the things you were afraid would overwhelm you if you stopped moving don't. That they were louder when you were running from them than when you finally turned and faced them. What I keep coming back to is this. The inability to relax isn't a personal failure. It's a rational response to the environment we've built and the habits we've developed inside it. It makes sense that the mind can't be still when it's been trained to never be still. It makes sense that silence feels wrong when everything about modern life says that being productive, being stimulated, being plugged in, that's the correct state to be in. But there's a part of you that remembers, even faintly, what it felt like to be genuinely at rest. To feel okay without anything needing to happen. To be present in a moment and feel quietly that it's enough. That part of you isn't gone. It's just been buried under a lot of noise. And I think the most important thing any of us can do right now, not as a productivity hack, not as a wellness trend, but as something real and human and necessary, is to start making a little more room for the quiet. Not because the quiet will fix everything, but because you deserve to know what your own mind sounds like when it's finally at peace.